And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to APAC North. Game number 2 is getting all ready and set. It's CLOUD9 versus Talon. It's all Korean for this matchup. Welcome back to the analyst desk. I'm also the medic. With me are Dez and Jess. And how about we get through these two rosters? Up first with Talon. So let's put them up on the screen and have a chat about the team that is confirmed in around 7th, 6th place to see as the day continues.
Yeah, both of these teams today, it's worth mentioning, are currently sat at only 2 wins in the season. Talon's coming against Guts and T1 on Cafe and Oregon, respectively. The thing is, they struggle against bigger teams, right? And maybe you look at Cloud9 today and say, well, they're not really a big team, right? They're not absolutely huge, but in the last few Playdays, Cloud9 are getting back to their old form. And the way that I can summarize Talon is they're a team that have got elements of a good team. There are the embers of brilliance, as I like saying lately, in them. You can see the team play coming together, but I think like T1, as you probably saw in the last fixture, there are some good parts to them, but they just get outgunned and outshone by these larger teams. Always seems to be the battle they have. The results on screen there, as you can see, losing out to the majority, except for those 2 that I mentioned earlier on. But against a Cloud9 that has been a bit wobbly at points throughout the season, maybe feeling a little bit hopeful for them today, Jess.
Yeah, unfortunately for Cloud9, as you said, only a couple of wins to their name after dominating in Stage 1, seeming to be the new kings when other teams shifted off to their sub-regions elsewhere. And as a result, now there has been another change for Cloud9. Nova taking a little bit of a break. Their coach Oni-chan, or OCN as we will refer to him, inside of the roster. His KD does not reflect the kind of impact I felt he has had in the games, especially on attack on Habana. And for me as a whole, this roster is looking hot. And with Nova not there, it kind of feels like they don't necessarily have a really solid backline anymore. It's changed the way that they play and how I feel about watching them. And the only map they've found 2 bits of success on has been a chaotic coastline. You can't rely on the chaos. There's so many other maps to deal with, boys. They're going to have to learn how to put this all together.
Well, Talon should know a lot about this team. They faced them so many times in Korean Open. They faced them so many times in APAC North. So this is a team you got to be familiar with. And with successes limited to coastline, as you mentioned,
not good.
It really narrows your chances. Actually, let's see which map we're going to be playing on in this series. Will it be Coast again? I have not asked for it.
I don't actually know this one, yeah.
And we're going to go to...
I knew it. You know, I told Hap, and he looked at me and he said, "Do you think I can go home early?" And I said, "You know what? I think you could." And I do see him sitting over at the casting desk, so he clearly didn't escape in time. And Oregon, for them, has gone to Borean. So that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen.
Hap, if you would like to go home, I'll happily step in just to give you some time of rest and solace. My God, these poor boys stuck on play. Just honestly, constantly getting stuck on this map, it feels like. But let's talk about the 2 teams going to this map, right? Yes, I think that's the worst. It's not coastline for Cloud9.
Yes.
That's one thing to take away from it. Talon play it quite a lot. They've played it against T1 a number of times. They play it more in their own regional league, but they beat T1 twice on the map. Again, though, bottom tier teams beating each other, read into that however you want to see it. Against Cloud9, it's going to be a completely different kettle of fish.
The only team I've seen Talon lose to on this map is Damwon Kia. I believe that might have been in their league. I haven't double-checked where it was exactly. Was it in stage, wherever it was, the only team has been Damwon Kia in the past 7, whereas it's been a complete 50-50 sort of split here for C9, both in their league and in stage 2 here for Cloud9. So if history says anything about this, Cloud9 are going to struggle.
Well, I think it's time for us to then see how things go down on Oregon. Just as, thank you so very much. I mean, at this point, you gotta do it. Well, I hope you guys are ready for this one. It's Talon, it's Cloud9, it's all Korean for this matchup. Our wonderful, wonderful man and woman on the other side of the desk are gonna try to take it through for today. Hap and M, take it away.
Yeah. Hey, we're back. It's Oregon again. Hey! Almost. Maybe. We're going to see. It's going to be an important match for these teams. Not that it matters for standings, but it matters for the end of the year, because all that they can really get is 6th place. Yeah. Hey, it's Oregon. It's Oregon. It's Oregon. What's up, Oregon? I don't know whether to go mad or be sad. It's just getting a shoulder massage now from Milos because he's... So actually, can you do this the entire match? Can you get me a coffee? That'd be nice. Yeah, do a quick... You like a runner? Oh. Yeah, we're back in Oregon. We've seen a lot of Oregon. My word, we've seen too much Oregon. We've seen a lifetime's worth of Oregon in the past week and a half. Really, we cannot escape
the precipice of Oregon, perpetually plummeting into its beige
this is like
brown
a hell loop.
hellscape. Hell consistently is crafted from the wood beneath Oregon. Please, if anybody is out there, free me from the mantle and the shackles and the chains of Oregon that wraps around like a coil unending. Okay, now I've got that out of the way. Hey, look at that, Flores Thatcher. That's going to make some of these pushes kind of tricky in situations. If you're looking at tight corners, you're looking at tight boxes areas, looking at trophy, you're looking at sort of blue and potentially even freeze around the backside as well. I think if we get through this and Wumai or Jaeger, they're both still on the board, that's going to make things very tricky here. Malusi as a removal. Don't see that too often since the sort of nerf.
No, definitely not. It's easier to take care of nowadays, of course. You just step in it for a second, you shoot the Banshee as it pops out, and suddenly you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, something now when you're looking at that. And, oh, we might have to come back in a second. I think what we sort of see...
Someone's missing, yeah.
Now with the removal, oh, yeah. You sort of need a full 5 players.
Yeah, it's you know, nice and easy if you have 5 players, especially for a map like Oregon.
Makes life easier. Okay, so those bans, as I said, you're looking at places like Trophy, you're looking at those tight pushes. They are tougher. The removal of the Malusi is going to make it a bit easier, just in terms of being able to get rid of a bit of utility, but you still got Mirror on the board. They had to, as I said, sort of remove either Wumai or Jaeger. You couldn't go into that push with all that limitation in terms of taking that stuff out there when you know a mute's going to be a consistent sort of thing at this situation where there's not, you know, with Flores off the board, there's not the biggest purpose in sort of getting rid of mute. But at the same time, when you're looking at how sort of claustrophobic that was, it just made sense.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I also get the Wumai. It's Wumai or Jaeger, right?
Yeah.
which one are you going to remove? The one that starts to charge up these discs and, you know, could possibly only have 2 or could have 7? Or are you going to do the Jaeger, which has 3 charges, which recharge every 10 seconds? So if you want to, you could really get in 18 projectiles with a single ADS if it goes quick enough.
That's it. If it goes quick enough.
If it goes quick enough.
That's the sort of cost, that's the concern, that's the worry, and that's what they're constructing around. And you know, we've been in Oregon a lot.
Yeah, I just checked. 4 times on the last 7 casts in APAC we did.
In APAC. Yeah. Add to that the amount of times that you and I have done it in a UO. I think it was
making it even more.
I think I counted it. I think it was 50% of our recent EUL casts have been on Oregon,
and over 50 for APAC. So
we're like a specialist.
We are experts on
It's
Oregon.
like we didn't ask for this reputation,
but we got it.
It's like if you need to sort out on Oregon, call us in. But we didn't tell people that. We're like,
in our Twitter bio now.
Please stop calling.
Instead of Rainbow Six casters, it's Oregon casters.
Oregon specialist Rainbow Six casters. So if you're unaware, we're just waiting for all of our players to get in. One of them unfortunately couldn't connect at the start. We'll be in the game sooner rather than later. Okay, our professionalism of Oregon, our huge amount of Oregon that we've been able to do the research on.
Yeah.
What I've seen, what I quite like, is a bit of a taller extension in terms of the hold on the basement and laundry.
I'm just pulling up the blueprints now. I wish we could do something with that. Imagine if we could pull them up during the rehost.
That would be so cool.
And if we could connect our tablets to it and we could just draw on the tablets. And like
there is a telestrator in the studio.
I know.
I guess we don't know how long the pause is going to be. If it goes on long enough, maybe we will
be able to.
Just start taking over the whole studio.
we go over.
There's a whole corner of the studio that never gets seen as well. It's really... It has like...
Yeah, it's like a chill.
All the old Rainbow...
We sit there when we cast, actually. No one knows, but...
Yeah, it has all the old Tom Clancy games. I have a sombrero down here.
Unfortunately, no one will go to Mexico today, but, you know, just in case they would be, we would have the sombrero ready. Sombrero ready. See, that is for CAG. We didn't do it for them, actually, did we, when they qualified?
No, I don't think we were that prepared.
No, I don't think we were either. Did we have glitters?
I think I've just heard us getting into the game in just a second. So I'm hearing audio in the background.
There's audio in the background.
We're
that
close.
means someone joined. That means we're getting very close. And, you know, you might be asking, why are we not breaking down this game?
Yep.
Well, nothing really happened yet. So
Hey, you're in the game.
There we go. We are in. Let's go. Oregon, round 1. It's about to get underway. We do see the mirror being 6 picked out to Jaeger. And the Ash will be coming out as well. The Blitz will be brought. That might be used for a bit of a push down to elbow, for example. But we are playing on that top floor first, and that is going to be a little bit more difficult, you would say, for the Blitz to make plays. Could be coming up from the Armory stairs or the White stairs, but, you know, going upstairs is always a little bit of a difficulty, especially with Blitz, because they can see your head. And these players know how to click heads, so they will definitely do that.
That's it. They're professionals in clicking heads.
Yes.
They're professionals in driving themselves through. It's a region of fantastic head clicking.
And Oregon.
And Oregon. Okay. We're looking at extensions here. Sorry, I had a moment there where the castle logo looked really strange above us. And for a second there from range, I was like, is that Thunderbird's logo? I was like,
Is that Thunderbird?
I really honestly had this moment there where we saw, and in my head I was like, I can see them putting up the castle. But whatever's happened to Castle's logo there, it looks like Thunderbird's logo. Static just suffered a fair bit on the entrance there as they're trying to make their way over to small tower. It's fired down in from inside dining. They're making sure that no one can get comfy or solid or any real mantle of control here. As Canos is like, well, I'm not going to throw my life away. Labyrinth has a bit of an extension on the rotation there. They have server open too, but look at the body at the bottom of tower waiting on kitchen corridor, holding and hoping that they go for a bigger, wider rotate.
Yeah, that's just holding down that rotation, making sure they're not able to fall back as much as they might want to. Drones are coming out shortly, but of course, in the side of Talon, they just want to hold on as long as they possibly can onto this kitchen. Seem to be well aware, though. Canos quickly putting his gun towards that direction. Labyrinth, of course, playing inside the security will shortly be spotted out by the Gemini, and that is going to stop Oni-chan before moving in. It is, yeah, okay, I was going to say it is Oni-chan, right? But it's OCN in the game, of course.
OCN, yeah. So, the Blitz in the hands of Envy Taylor. It's nothing that we see too commonly, I think it's fair to say.
No, and normally we do, and we might see it active and effective on that bottom floor. I'm yet to see how it's exactly going to be working out on this top floor push. They do need to find themselves a safe-ish way in for it to be useful. Nishan's about to take care of that castle barricade. That is going to be putting up a little bit of pressure into the bedroom. He's just waiting. The jumping comes in. Envy Taylor is in, and we'll be planting in the middle of the smoke. That's how they want to use the Blitz here.
That's it. Canos is underneath and is able to win the firefight there as Shael jumps in and takes the firefight inside Kids. Suddenly it's
LMG.
just the control underneath there and behind the Bastion and the ballast of the Blitz there. They're able to throw themselves in around the corners. They are all massively injured. That's the big cost right now, but with nothing in the pockets to sort of punish that from a bit of range, Canos is going to give a bit of the game away as they set themselves here, doubled up on White Stairs. A few more explosions. The spray comes around the corner. There goes Iana. Puts it into a 3 versus 2. There's the super shorty from a bit of range, and Harper accidentally takes that Envy Taylor. Canos is down because of the top, but it's Shael with a double at the end. C9 said, hey, we want to finish this round quick. Sorry for taking so long to get ourselves into the game.
Yeah, it took them a little bit before they were able to actually get inside as well. Smoke canisters were tossed out, and a lot of damage was actually done on the Blitz. But, of course, he used to go for a bit of a reverse blend, use that shield to block any bullets that would potentially be coming in, and they're going to run the exact same thing. They might have thought that it would have been downstairs to start off with. I also really like the small addition of the LMGE on the side of Zofia. A weapon we haven't really seen that much lately. The M762, of course, is a very powerful weapon, but will be receiving a bit of a recoil nerf. And maybe, in that case, we will see the LMGE making a bigger appearance, because Zofia still has a lot of utility. Of course, still 2 impacts and 2 lifelines, which are so useful to clear out players, clear out utility, and if you follow that one up with an LMG, you can just keep pre-firing the corner, you know they're in, and there's not going to be a good opportunity for them to try and re-peek it.
Yeah, I guess that's it. It's get used to it early, isn't it? It's
It
sort
might be
of
early adapters.
Yeah, early adapters. Get yourself ready for
What is the saying?
Early bird gets the one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Early bird gets used to an LMGE.
And with that,
And
gets the
3K.
kills. Yeah.
And gets a 3K in the opening round there. I mean, it was very pacey. The 6th pick to the clash there from Aziz is the sort of response potentially to that blitz, just to stop any of that get back in. But you also look at the situations where how that C9 collapse came together. It was multifaceted, multi-fronted. There was a couple of bodies that jumped in via the double window. There was one that came in onto dorms, and then there was a fight that happened underneath that we weren't privy to, but it went the way of Canos either way. So looks like they want to try and be a bit sharp here yet again on the entrance, but this early drone work game, the early pressure applied by C9 means that nothing can be gathered and clawed by Talon's talons.
Definitely want to go quick again. Every Taylor's just putting the back down towards the actual clash. Knows it doesn't really seem to matter. Wants to move in. One on the left-hand side. Doesn't manage to get the kill. The team kill from OCN will be coming into Harper with a grenade. That's the second team kill that is coming through so far on the side of Cloud9, and it's all falling apart for them. As Talon, I believe that was a flawless round. I'm not quite sure, but at least we're able to pick up loads of kills here. And a second team kill in the second round.
2 team kills, 2
Cloud9 is trying to go quick at this game. They're trying to keep up the pace, and of course mistakes happen when you do. Not quite sure how the grenade managed to get in range. Would have maybe, I don't know, did he die before? Because someone died. It could have been a dropped grenade.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open up.
You're going to get the replay?
I'm going to get the
action
replay.
Your own action replay? Even though we have a fantastic production
Of
and replay
course,
department.
but I don't want him to replay the entire round.
No.
Well, it was quick enough, so it might actually fit.
It probably would. It probably would fit quite quickly. Envy Taylor. Hey, is that an Ash? No. It's a Twitch. That's a very different pace. They've sort of realized they're probably not going to have the success of that quick rush style, especially when they double down twice here, though we are not going back to dorms. They're not opting for that early on. Mira on the board. I sort of expected to see a little bit more action from her earlier on, if I'm honest. The fact that she was sort of let through, she can offer quite a lot on Oregon.
Definitely, like especially when it was old Oregon as well, when you could challenge the hatch, of course, in Laundry with that mirror window. That barely gets played anymore. It's a pain to my heart because that was a time when I used to play. I used to play that quite a lot actually in the box. Yeah, I was challenging the hatch every day. But
you've always been a big mirror player.
I have been a big.
You
mirror
have a
player.
favorite quote from Michael?
Well, I'm not sure if you meant it, and I also didn't hear it myself, but someone else said it to me. Either way. It's always good to see the mirror come into play because sides suddenly change. Suddenly the whole approach revolves in, well, either bypassing the mirror windows or taking care of them. It's just an operator gadget you cannot really ignore. And that is what makes it so fun in my view as a spectator and caster as well, if it's on the board, because everything changes. It's not the same setup every single time.
No. And I think that's all of that sort of pulled together. Sorry, we just had Easy, observer in our area. He's apparently, a grenade was missed.
Yeah, the grenade was missed and killed a teammate with that, so that's very unfortunate. As the opponent is outside, Shao still using that LMGE.
So bringing it.
150 rounds in the magazine. It's going to be very, very, useful if you want to make sure you don't have to reload. I think that's the point of the LMG, of course.
Yep.
And probably getting ready already. I'm not quite sure. Either way, Cloud9 is really setting up themselves around the meeting side of the map.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can see Envy Taylor's going all the way underneath, potentially going to try and pull themselves up via the laundry stairs. They've got to get a bit of clarity onto dorms, though. That's the big problem right now, and they're droning out Attic, sure, but if you don't really have anything there to stop that rotation around the back, that's an open hatch for them to just sort of gun down and retake Lounge if they wanted to. The Echo above means that without sort of clearing that as well, it becomes a very dangerous take. They're sort of trying to throw themselves into the site yet again, but there is a lot of body work that you've got to do here. They're pulling out these Echo drones, getting the spots. I still want to see some presence above. I'm not really sure how Cloud9 are shaping themselves right now, and if this is sort of where they want to drive themselves in, they're not leaving themselves a huge amount of time.
Definitely not. Instead of one of the Yokai actually getting zapped by that Twitch drone, and the one player that's inside the basement could theoretically be cutting up from the freezer stairs, kill the player inside of security, of course, as the ADSs were attempted to be wasted but failed. It's static now on the top floor. It gets taken out by tomorrow, and that is, well, the top floor contest you asked for, just unfortunately not really working out.
I think that's it. They sort of went for the opener onto the kitchen wall, but that's not the hard bit of taking this site. The hard bit and the bit that needs the most time and dedication is taking the top, is getting those bodies out of position and sort of pulling them into the situation. You're sort of looking at the hold that's underneath here by MV Taylor. He's watching a flank that's just not coming. And you're looking at 30 seconds left. So finally, he started to make his way up Freeze's stairs, potentially going to come up around the backside of Canos here, who's just holding the bottom of White, but that opener's going to give a bit of the game away. Labyrinth gets the next open onto Harper as OCN seems to go for the slow call around the corner, drops one, there's one more, just sees them, just takes them, somehow gifted with a double there as the body pulls out, can't find the third, and Talon take what I think was a pretty poor attack by C9.
Yeah, it was definitely a pretty poor attack. They were quick in opening up the kitchen. However, there was no real pressure coming in from elsewhere. They really needed to send up 2 players to that top floor to start off with, not as an afterthought, one by one. Because that hurt them quite a bit. And now you're going back to that top floor. It's a side that was quickly rushed by Cloud9, and they probably are very well aware of the fact that it will be up to this side. And will not be opting to go for the exact same approach. The Ash will be coming out for now. No 6 picks, it seems like, for Cloud9. As all of them have been locked in. There's the Sophia still as well. The LMG able to pick up a couple of kills. But the rounds are not quite there yet.
And it's getting that connection. We sort of talked about how the pace of this one can be a little bit strange, but you know, it's the shape of Cloud9's approach here, and we're seeing different faces of them. It's a team that, to be fair, has struggled to get their shape this split. They've obviously played the last couple of games with their coach in the position, but those have been the successful games. That was some of the most Cloud9 we've seen, and it wasn't Cloud9. It was, you know, Cloud9 trying to find some of what they once were, and here, this is a gameplay that I don't think we've really seen them play at all so far.
Well, the thing is that they're trying to play quick, and that is something that in stage 1 you would have said, yeah, this is Cloud9. However, they were able to find the success back then, and that is just something that seems to be lacking right now. You see them wanting to go quick. They are going for these quick executes, maybe a little bit quicker than you would normally expect from them, but, you know, the pace is still there. However, just stuff is lacking, and that could be that top floor control where previously you would send Envy Taylor and Shal or Shal to get rid of them, but that is not really happening now, and these are these small little factors that well, currently seem to hinder Cloud9, and it's Envy Taylor, the first one to be picked up. It's Canis to go for a run out, and it's going to be your Ash gone. Your 2 breaching rounds gone, meaning that you'll have to make do with all the 4 grenades you have available to you and potentially the 2 impacts. Of course, it's still plenty of explosives available to you to try and take out whatever you need to take care of. But it's also a man less, and that means that Talon is fighting with a man advantage. And it's not like Cloud9 have nothing to lose. If they lose here, they will be ending up in the 7th place, I have to say, which is the you know, one to last. Of course, there is no SI points to be gained in either of the 2 positions where these 2 teams can end up. However, the points at the end of the stage will all, you know, matter, because we know what happened to Rogue last season at UL. We know what's happening to them right now. They're also still going down, but mainly last season, of course, when there was 2 stages and they ended up in the relegations.
But here, they're trying to apply the pressure over the top of Trophy. This is one of the cleanest approaches we've seen from them so far, but there's still a lot of concern underneath. The holes that are open on the default plant spots, the C4 in the hands of Labyrinth 2 in a position where he is otherwise not being contested at this moment in time. Shael is going to try and bury his way all the way to the back and see if he can get past any of that. Danch is a very dangerous game, but is able to survive from it. They've still got that pressure in Addicts. They can't really go for the swing and the deep dive onto Foosball. They've now thrown themselves underneath. The Gemini of Iana is trying to get that mute out so they can go for a plant and go for something a little bit pacey.
Look at the angle being watched. However, there's going to be a very difficult opportunity for the 2 of Cloud9 to move through here. The smoke will try and cover up as much as they possibly can. A lot of damage will be done to OCN, who's on top of the foosball table now, but is stuck in a position and cannot get the plan down. It's just going to die in there with the diffuser. I'm not quite sure what's happening there, but that is going to be the diffuser dropped, and that is going to be now the Termite having to come in. Harper needs to amend for the situation here, and there's 25 seconds left on the clock. It's a 3-on-4 situation. Canis about to come in from the back. Can they make this happen?
Now, Static has obviously pulled themselves up because they realized they got to drive their way through the side either way, but it allowed Canos to move up to this position round on the backside, which if it goes uncontested could be an absolute nightmare. They're going to try and hold on as he goes for the slow sneak round. A last-second change of the position of the plant means that it goes cold. They try and drive it across. There's Canos getting one more. The C4 pops off, and C9 lose another round.
They try to go for the plant here. First of all, OCN on the foosball table, not able to get it down, dying from the smoke just ever so slowly. Went from full to 0 without even attempting to get the plant down, and Diffuser recovered, planting in the exact same corner Harper was. However, the bottom floor support was gone. They had everyone on the top floor, and as one of the players moved down to white, of course could use the vertical that was created just earlier on, able to get it down. Now, Diffuser then being picked up yet again, running towards the kids' bedrooms. But before he actually reached the door, also shut down by Canis. And as a result, you have 3 different carriers who all have been shut down on the side of Cloud9. Even though they have full side control, they lacked the control all around it. And that is something you do not really want to see happen. Luckily, however, it is still Oregon. And Oregon, if you have a 4-2 defensive splits, that is considered the default. So if Cloud9 manage to pick up a singular round, there's always going to be that opportunity that they manage to bring it all the way back. And even if they don't get any more rounds than they currently have, it is never over until it's over.
I mean, they need to play a lot tighter than what they are.
That is definitely true.
You know, it's not that Talon are playing fantastically or abysmally. They're playing sort of average Siege, which is fine for a pace. Talon's a team that's obviously had a little bit of an up and down this split, but C9 are just, nothing really seems like it's being thrown together. The tightest that they've looked so far, to be fair, was, you know, a rush round where they threw themselves in, and since then it's been quite scrappy. It's been outside of this early droning where they're able to find a lot of intel. They've suffered in these early scrapes and engagements, and the executes, they just can't really get the panache in. We just saw Thermite sort of sit inside a couple of smokes. They were isolated. They didn't really know how to move, how to manipulate. They didn't have the cover there, and it's those movements and those situations where it just feels a little bit rough and ready. And Talon, as I said, their sort of level of siege is able to very easily capitalize upon that, shut it down.
Currently, they definitely are, and the shield has been taken down. Aziz is thinking about potentially going for the reinforce. We'll do that now. Might bait in a couple of players to try and rush elbow, but due to Soldier that showed his performance earlier on, that is going to be the mirror window. That is, well, neutralize the player behind it. Aziz, it's up to Soldier now to return some fire. Of course, elbow has been completely reinforced though, so they need to use hard breach material if they want to go through it. That mirror window might be coming in clutch as Canos picks up a very important kill.
Takes the fire over the top, sprayed through, found Harper just on the pre-fire towards a soft wall. Great take, but it's a bit of a gift now, and C9, who for the start of this had a very good opener, they've found themselves in another tricky situation. This is where things have generally started to collapse for them on the previous rounds. This bit of adaptation, this precious moment in the build-up to the execute where you need to see if you can formulate your plan and have every part in a place where if things do start to come off, you can at least get the cart over the line. It's going to start here over the top, a steady creep towards Canos, who's still holding the E-box hatch and putting the pressure down, but they're going to draw some of his attention towards the wall and the split on the stairs with the spray through. The change of hands of the diffusers still allows Canos to, I guess, play in this position. A minute left. All the C9 bodies have opted away from that hatch instead, and that could be a costly moment that they've opted for. Tried to just run past the hatch, which you know was being watched. The spray down onto Long. Envy Taylor is at least able to get one more. Goes for the footprints. You last saw Canos upstairs. You have the pre-fire and you take it for a quad. The ace doesn't quite come through there though. Canos, the man who was left unpunished, punishes back.
Punishes back indeed. It was almost the ace for Envy Taylor there. The man who carried that diffuser was playing on that Jekyll. Just unfortunately had no time to clear out the orcs from the top, and members were lost as a result. The round was lost as a result of it. Now Talon find themselves 4-1 in the lead. One more round on the defense to play for. Could technically mean that they will be coming out on top with a 5-1, potentially. But also, there could have been a way. There could be a way where, you know, they managed to find a round, and from there on, there is a good opportunity for them to potentially fight back, because as I said, a 2-4 split is considered default, and we're heading into no technical timeout, or tactical. I thought the pause button was about to be called.
It looked like it was. Maybe
might have been too late.
Might have been too late. If that stuff is too late for us to physically pause it, well, there's not much you can do.
That might have been Cloud9 wanting to go for a bit of a pause. Might be getting it at the turn of the half. But for now, they have to make do with, well, the 45 seconds they have worth of prep time. They will be aware of where it's going to be coming from or where these sites will be, and mirror windows will be set up. Now, it's going to be difficult to get rid of it. And if I was correct, I'm not sure if they punched a mirror window or if they used a Maverick torch in it to get rid of it, but it seemed like it was still up. It was still being watched at least. And Canis here, very important first kill, taking out Shao and then just transferring the spray across. I'm not even sure if he saw him. Could have maybe been the top of the head. Able to pick up 4 kills in total, Canis. Not the ace quite.
Okay, 4-1. C9, you're opened with a round, and you might be able to close the half with one as well. As you said, there's a bit of hope. It's 4-2, and again, that sort of disjointedness is starting to sort of rear its ugly head and peer through onto these holds, these executes, and these attempts towards the front of the board. And you know, you're always sort of craving that little bit more. They're cautious of the run-out potential here that Canos has been able to cause a lot of problems. He's 9-1. He's having a fantastic sort of feast here because he's able to keep striking. And if there's anyone that blossoms and blooms against a team that feels and looks a bit uncoordinated, it is that roaming fragger.
It is definitely Canis, the one who keeps on coming into flanks, just waits for the perfect moment before he strikes, and every single time he has been effective. You should mention, only died once in these small 5 rounds, and that is the round which, of course, was won by Cloud9. So Thermic is allowed to go off, though. I don't think... Oh, the impacts! I was going to say, I don't think there might be in time for the impacts, but there's definitely time for the impacts, and now Harper needs to put a new one down. It's Aziz that gets the entry kill down onto NV Taylor. It's not going quite well for Cloud9 here. They try to go quick with potentially opening up. A grenade will be coming in, and is going to get the down onto Aziz. So good throw there. And the second impact will miss, and that means the exothermic will be successful.
Yeah, they'd sent a body down on the bottom of tower stairs as well to make sure that they could try and apply pressure from both sides. That was obviously the position we saw NV Taylor playing before, underneath watching the flank, and they might be able to go bold to try and get that body picked up. And you assume that they had some drone and intel soldiers trying to find their way, but they're not just going to rush through because, obviously, as I said, there was a body that was on the flank watch on the bottom of tower stairs before. But otherwise, they're sort of in this 4 versus 3 situation on the site right now. They could effectively try and do one of their better closes that they've had so far. The bounce round the corner, the grenade to the back of the bunks, drops another one. That's a second body down as soon as they got the first back up. But Labyrinth locks in for a double. Harper finally puts them out, but it's a shutdown from above, leaving just Harper. And a 4 versus 1, that'll be an easy pickup on Canos up top as they won that firefight. And with 30 seconds and a default getting the spot here as they try and find their way around on the back stairs, all vertical control still in the hands of Talon, we feel like we're catapulting our way to a 5-1 half.
It definitely seems like that. There is almost no time. 10 seconds on the clock to find 4 players. It's not going to happen. Canis is going to be able to pick up the final kill. And now we have a tactical coming in. And it's not actually Cloud9. No, it's Talon. Talon are like, you know what? You're struggling, Cloud9. We're going to give you that tactical timeout. You know, get yourself sorted whilst we prepare ourselves for our attacks, because they are about to go over to the other side now, right now. We have had 6 rounds, and that means that we are going to go for that swap. And they're 5-1 in front. They smell the victory. They smell the 3 points. And they will desperately need them as well, because I'm just going to pull up, this big statistical standings point of view here. And the overall standings, that is. So I'm going to see whether or not teams are inside of the relegation danger. And then I get stage 1. That's not what I meant for. No. It's coming, don't worry. At some point. There we go. All right. Talon currently in 7th place. And as I mentioned before on that desk, bottom 3 are going to be relegated at the end of the season. And they are joined by T1 and by Fav. But Cloud9, you know, they were very high up in the first stage, managed to get 27 points. They are currently only 8 points away from being relegated. So another stage like this, and they might find themselves amongst these bottom 3 teams.
Well, they're on the defense now. That will give them at least some more sort of ground to work with.
Potential ground.
You hope, I think if you're a C9 fan, you see them a little bit sharper. You see them take that time, that moment to have a bit of a conversation and try and pull themselves back into this game that otherwise Talon, I think they've sort of had this conversation where they've said, look, we're punishing a lot of these mistakes. We can really drive this one home. We can really pull ourselves into this solid situation. 3 C4s in the mirror windows with the extension there. It offers some of the aggression we talked about sort of being alleviated onto this defense, but it's making it sink, it's making it connect, which has been that difficulty for C9 this game so far.
It definitely has been. It basically has been the difficulty all season. The only games that they managed to win were on Coastline. And you're wondering, like, is it really going to be this map bound? Is it really just Coastline that they managed to win? Are they just struggling that much in any other map? Because so far, their attacks, they were not good at all. This is not the CLOUD9 that we're used to be seeing during Stage 1 or even during SI. They play better than they currently do. And that leaves you to wonder, like, what happened to them? Did the motivation just get hit that much by the unfortunate results that happened during SI, where they got sent home by our European Tier 3 team of makers? And it can almost not be that. It needs to be something else, you would have to hope. And you hope that they're going to be back during Stage 3. Either way, it's Talon that is on the hunt, and Static that is inside of T3. All the way on the top here will be holding off the longest of angles. Who's playing on that Mozzie has the opportunity to hack these drones, and well, CLOUD9 is all playing very close to doors, to angles with shotguns and different angles being held. It's Talon that will just continue with their execute, continue with their approach, and they don't really have to worry about Tier 3. That's the Nitro Cell you had to shoot out tomorrow. That is going to be Envy Taylor to get a first kill. Tried to go for a second with the actual shot of the shotgun. Managed to deal 75 points of damage to Cannons, but not quite locked down that kill yet. And this is going to be dangerous. Soldier right around the tower. Could find pressure soon to come in from Static, who doesn't seem to be aware for now. He's just holding off the back tower stairs. And there's the opening. Now they definitely should be aware if someone is coming from attic.
Yeah, and it's sort of, obviously, you said it was the early strike. Envy Taylor was able to lock themselves in onto that. And to be fair, if any player's been able to find some success, they almost built themselves the back of a second round off of an ace, off of their play, off of their position that they can get themselves into. Here, they find themselves still at the top of tower, still with a lot of space and a lot of roam. They could try and get some revenge if they wanted to. They could try and bring some of this fight back round, but they're waiting patiently for now because they're uncontested. They have this minute. They have a lot of time, and it's curious to see if Talon are aware of this potential encroaching threat.
Harbor able to take out a Gemini, but of course his position will be known. Has to fall back just ever so slightly as the diffuser gets recovered, and Ocean actually takes a lot of damage. Grenades are coming in, forces Harper to go wide, and that will be the pickup there from Azzies to come in. The M249 raining in. There's another LMG to come through, and now the Nitro goes out, but it's not going to be able to explode. It's a 2-on-4. Talon are starting to force through. Shal, however, coming in clutch, will be able to take out 2, but now it's only up to Static, the man that was in the big tower for basically the entire game. He's coming down the laundry stairs. He's going to be coming around the back. The plant is slowly taking place, and it is right on site. Soldier, however, will stick it. Static has no clue, and that means it is now going to be a 1-on-1. 40 seconds left. The Nitro gets tossed out, will not find the player. Only opens up a rotation possibility as he takes care of the mirror window, not giving a single bit of information away to the side of Talon if he would be playing behind it. Pre-fires with the Roni are not going to be successful, as it is going to be a Soldier to wrap around the corner. It's right in the corner of the hallway. Will not be spotted out by that Roni. Only 10 more seconds need to be wasted by Static for him to be able, well, to not be able to defuse anymore. He's missing the opportunity to go for the kill here. He needs to stick it at this very moment, and Soldier will run in now. He has to run in now. The diffuser is going to go off, and that is going to be the round. He could have stuck it there. There was not much time left. He didn't even have an opportunity to go off because there would be no way he was back on in time. That is Talon now finding themselves into a match point. And not just 1, but 5 in total. And just like CLOUD9, they were able to get the first initial round. This one wasn't necessarily packed on, well, the pace that was being brought, but rather on systematically clearing out these players and taking control of the site. You can see with the grenades, displacing the players, forcing them to run wide and picking up these shots. It was just Xiao that really had anything to say about it. Was able to pick up 2 in Freezer, but not much more came of that.
Well, I said they were going to sort of have the timeout, have the conversation, and see how they could thread the idea of aggression, see how they could thread the idea of we can put pressure onto them. They are struggling today. There's no sort of two ways about that. Unfortunately, with Cloud9's play, there's still a bit of a disconnect. They almost pulled it back there, to be fair, but it was their opening defense on what can be a good defensive team, and Talon have struggled on their attacks at points this split, and here the ability to sort of put pressure on, they realized, well, we can try and drive our way through defense. We can isolate some of the players here. They had that early sort of scrap with Envy Taylor, got him off the board, and since then it came down to yet again almost another clutch, almost another 2 versus 1 clutch with a double picked up earlier on in the round. So they find themselves with a lot of map points. A lot of map points against the C9 that just feels sort of demotivated today.
Definitely so. Just quickly checking for the shield that has been set up in the hallway. Of course, there is no Ashe, there is no Zofia to directly impact the shields. One of them is above some soft flooring, though, and that means they could get some X-Scars from below or a grenade to try and take care of the shield in that way, that matter. But for now, it is going to be Talon onto their attack once again. It's going to be the Gone 6 used to open up the window, but Canis instantly dropping off. It's just a bit of a distraction play to come in. It's just there to tell them, hey, we could be coming from the main window, but you'll have to put someone towards it now to make sure that it doesn't happen. A Static takes out a drone, is being pre-fired on either side. It's going to be able to, well, at least deal a bit of damage, but I surely would have thought it was going to be able to pick up the headshot there onto the upside down Repello soldier.
Well, as they try to just hold off this approach, the burn of the flashes round into the ADSs on the door itself, you still have, obviously, a bit of a stretch. And Talon here, they're going for a bit of width. They have the attention paid towards the top of tower. They're making sure that they have that control. They're making sure that they can burn their way across Attic here. Envy Taylor underneath. Could be a bit of a problem. Has the C4 in case the pressure comes through. Harper as well, obviously, has a C4 around Zulu. They haven't got themselves the hole opened around Foosball table, but they have the ability to loop it from the holes that they otherwise do have. They're prepped to put the pressure onto, and I think now it's just a matter of seeing if they can withstand, if they can hold off Talon's approach.
Comes the Nitro. That is going to be blown maybe a bit too early. I'm not quite sure. They're waiting for a little bit of information to come through. And, there's probably going to be a Mew Jimmer on that wall. They need to deal with from below first. At least I would assume so. No, it's actually not even there. So it's free to breach. And, well, it might take care of the X-Scarls as soon as it is being placed down. As they should have heard that Nitro. He just walked past it. It's not responding to it for now. It's just being droned in. Security seems to be clear. There could be a player inside. Oh, it's being shot at there. It was going to be returning fire a bit early, but did not.
Yeah, a bit of a scrap, bit of an audio, and a bit of a boon here as Static's able to take care of Canos. That's 2 frag grenades, obviously off the board, but there's still 2 more. Soldier shows what can be done with one of them and is able to get rid of Shael on the back line. The fight between Harper goes against him as Labyrinth sort of pulled the catch. You could see that as a multifaceted pull from either side. Static wants to lean into this. He's going to try and take the fight rather than drop the utility, and does get some success. They get it open, but you look at the fact that there's only 20 seconds. They have to try and drive themselves in, and Static, he's going to lean into that. Takes another one as Aziz drives their way across, but they're going for a very big rotate here. They realize there's 1 up, 1 down. They can't quite get the fight up, though, and that is going to put the round into its end. There's no way that he can get himself all the way in. C9 just have to keep a distance. They don't even need to do that, though. They're able to find their second round.
There you go, second round on the board. Now they need to find 4 more to put themselves up into a situation where they could go for overtime and potentially could fight for the win. You see it on the top there, the live rankings. Both these teams currently swapping positions. Talon was in 7, Cloud9 was in 6. The way it's currently going, Talon is going to be able to pick up those points and pick up that position, which of course for them is quite important given the fact that they are currently hovering around that relegation place, which they really want to get out of by, well, hopefully the end for them of stage 3, because that is when the relegations will be played. Either way, there is still a round. There's still 4 rounds available for Talon to try and close this out and get the full 3 points, which they would gladly sign for against a team like CLOUD9. CLOUD9, of course, not in the best form so far. Their attacks were a bit wonky. Their defense is a little bit better, but also due to maybe Talon not really having the best plan ready and at the go for the side they just faced. Now we're going back to that basement. The side that Talon did manage to, well, overrun quite effectively. And it all started in Freezer, where they were able to, of course, first lose a player, but able to strike back instantly after Untitled went a bit too aggressive with the shotgun, got picked up, and after that it was Harper forced wide by a frag grenade. Didn't expect the third player to be in there, but it was Shal that picked up 2 kills. And that should be definitely something Talon is aware of now, is Untitled trying to get the Mew Jammer in the sink, fails to do it, so we'll just place it down on top.
6-2 Talon. You've been able to drive yourself into a good position. As I said, you know, they've been able to punish the mistakes. Canos mainly has been able to have a very loose day. Harper didn't quite get the connection there as they went into a bit of a hyper-aggressive. Aziz, I think he's a bit lucky to survive away from that. They've already used a bit of the Capital's aggression well so far, and that buys them that little bit more space, that little bit more time here. They're angling their way in a steady approach. Talon knows that they have a good opportunity to lock this out. They just have to do what they were doing so well before, which is punish C9's mistakes, punish CLOUD9's misplays.
Not just punish them, but force them into them. Something they have been able to do earlier quite effectively. And grenades are being pulled now, but even being tossed in. Takes out the drone as well. It's quite unfortunate. It was probably not going to be tossing in that grenade, considering they should be aware that it's clear, but decided to go for it either way. Now Soldier on that top floor, just opening up a couple of angles. Don't take out another friendly... Okay, I was going to say, don't take out another friendly drone, please. That is not necessary, but many of the rotations are being created, and that gives them the opportunity to freely rotate around on the top floor. This time, you see that the hatch there are reinforced. They need to take care of that if they want to push from that side, as Aziz on the back stairs here is well aware of his position currently being held. Puts up a flying drone just to make sure no one is going to be coming up from that side, and then will be making his way over to potentially the freezer, as that is where they pushed from before, and could be where they push from again.
In the meantime, C9, they're still buried in. They haven't really been pushed too out of shape. They haven't really extended themselves too much this time. They sort of locked it off, handed it over. They're not going to play with the big roam loose player as they tried before, because they sort of realized, well, that didn't last very long. So we have to have a little bit more solidity. We can take these firefights. We can go for these trades, these engagements. The pre-fire on either corner puts Untitled in a bit of a tough spot, but they've just been able to sort of move in, put the pressure around all the way on the backside of Freezer as the pops start to come, putting themselves on that crux, that precipice of the hold towards Laundry. Big angles are being pushed and pressured with only 40 seconds left. It's now down to Talon to see if they can uproot some of C9.
Tomorrow going quite wide, wants to get some Xcaros off. There you go. One will be on, but there's some Mew Jammer still on it, and that means they need to find a way to get rid of it. Untitled gets the first kill. Canis will drop. He's playing quite aggressively as he runs across. It's Aziz that will be getting the injury here. Unfortunately, not to confirm, as OCN will be able to pick up yet another kill. So 4-on-3 active situation here, and Talon have the opportunity to close it out, but they need to find a player behind the mirror window, as Aziz will be able to pick up the double kill now. It's 8 seconds left. They need to get the diffuser, and they need to get it in, but that mirror window is still so active and still so annoying for them.
Well, the spray of an LMG trying to get something there, but Talon sort of met a bit of a brick wall. As I said, C9, instead of playing themselves on a bit of width, they locked themselves entirely, and Talon seemed a little bit stumped as to how to try to pull the players out when they weren't being gifted some of the lives. And as I said it before, it felt more like C9 were playing poorly than Talon were outplaying them.
Yeah,
really. There was a moment where C9, they pull back on a lot of those mistakes. Instead of having these flaws in these communications, when they went for these roams, when they went for these stretches, they said, well, if we make mistakes in front of each other, we at least can sort of get the coverage there. We can have those trades and have those positions ready to get a bit of a response and a revenge. But now they find themselves on the tertiary side. Now they find themselves on one where they're going to have to probably have a bit of an extended hold. They're going to have a little bit of this extension above, and Talon, now that they have a multifaceted attack, might be able to finally push themselves over the line.
Definitely so, and it is going to be the meeting hall and the kitchen rather than the dining room. And that means that, of course, verticality of the small tower, for example, not that important, but the big tower, to be in full control of it, is going to be important. Very often this results into a top floor take as well, because it's just so powerful to deny any plans. There is many different opportunities players go for in terms of plants. Sometimes they place it right after the stage, right in the back of it. Sometimes, very rarely though, they actually breach the main lobby from the entry point, exactly the wall that is currently being shown. And you try and get a plant in there. It works if you have the long angle from the stage, if you can cut that down. And you need to make sure that, of course, you have the entrance control, the main lobby entrance control. Out of that meeting. But it doesn't often happen, and sometimes teams are too focused on it. They lose everything they have in a result of it because they just, you know, you're basically exposed to many different angles, to the laundry stairs, to the kitchen corridors, and everything like that. Soldier here will be on his drone, and a very unfortunate timing. Not sure if he has a drone near, but could be losing his life as a result here. Oh, gets the spot. Just not the kill on Envy Taylor.
There it is. As I said, they're going to have to go for a taller hold. C9 won't be able to lock themselves in as they did before, and that might mean that Talon can punish them, as they've been able to do before. Try and pull a little bit more of an individual firefight first, take a bit of a cost, and then it means that execute on the site gives them a little bit more momentum. Envy Taylor, he's just going to pull himself away. Sort of leave that Valkyrie of Static inside alone and buys themselves a little bit more time. Sure, they have the ability to loop a C4 if they want to from a bit more range, but with Tomorrow now on the pressure on the bottom of White Stairs, it means that any rotation back up on that side is going to be tricky. It's just going to have to be a drop down that they're going to have to take as the land steadily just gets overwhelmed and overtaken by Talon.
I think all the drops already came through. There's no one left on that top floor, and as soon as they realize it, they are going to be trying to take control of it. Still players inside of security though, and one in the small tower as well, Static. Just holding off for now, and Tomorrow going on a bit of a hunt here, but he's not watching the right direction and will be picked up as a result. OCN able to get the kill into Aziz as well. This is diffuser dropped on that top floor, and Talon lose 2 members quite quickly here. So that gives away his position. Canis is trying to hold on as OCN drops, but a minute 10 left on that clock, and vertical control has been established. You just need to make something work with it now.
Well, a steady creep is how they're trying to get their approach yet again, but it is something that's cost them as the time comes to a bit of a push and a punch towards the end of a round. There is still all the bodies inside meeting, and there's barely any structural work that's been done to the walls on the site so far. Talon's still trying to position themselves, and look at Envy Taylor here waiting for them to go a little bit wide. Labyrinth is holding an angle, but he's entirely unaware. If Envy wanted to, he could very easily go for the swing right now, or the C4 over the top, or just on the soft wall itself. But he doesn't need to. He can keep that utility in pocket, get the punishment that he can dole out, and goes for the rotate back around the top. Soldier goes for a drop inside the site, takes the first fight, but with only 20 seconds, has a lot more left to find. Finds it for a triple down inside server, but with the pings coming through from the yellow, you can see the stretch of the Talon players. They are making sure that they can at least try and get this down, but Envy Taylor creeping around the back stairs should get the easy lock off, misses the pre-fire, but Harper doesn't. C9 find their tertiary, find their rotation, find themselves on 6-4, and what seemed a little bit impossible at the turn of the half is feeling a little bit more feasible now.
It definitely does now. Only 2 rounds away, the complete rotation has been completed. Of course, complete rotation. And that means they can go back to their primary site now, and they potentially will, as we're heading back to Kid Storms. Yes, okay, so they're not going for the other tertiary, or what do you say if it's 4? Is it
quarterly? I don't know.
It's not quarterly.
That's when it's
that is
one of 4.
25% of it.
Is it? No.
Quarter.
25% is a fourth.
Yeah, that's a quarter as well. A quarter of something is a fourth of it.
Primary, secondary, tertiary, quadrillion.
I don't know. I'm not the one that speaks.
So it's
quadrillion. Yeah, but quarter is
I've never had
a fourth of it.
Push myself. The fourth side. The fourth choice.
Let's put it up like that. That's easier. I don't speak the language enough to get up with the word either.
They're not going with their fourth choice site.
Quarterly.
No,
they're not going with that one. They're going for their primary. They're going back to the top 4.
Back to the top.
And, you know, last time we maybe saw a bit of a lack of for example, Zofia or Nash to take care of shields, and then you're looking over at what they have right now, and there's still no operators. That will suffice for it. They have to use their grenades or the Gun 6 to get rid of these Goyo shields. There's just going to be the air jabs now, so
Edge up to the Ying. And the Ying I've got some curiosities about because, sure, in theory, that will help Talon.
Depends on the push.
Yeah, entirely. So Talon have struggled when they've got to the push itself. They've struggled to sort of find the shape inside the site. But in the right hands, a Cantella can go for that quick pace pressure. But you've got to utilize that. You've got to swing into it. You've got to have the confidence to just throw yourselves in and try and get some of this aggression. And to do that is the question is, are they going to have the confidence to try and push themselves? They're so close to match point, but if this one goes away,
quick push. This might be a quick push from the master bedroom window. I'm not quite sure, but I do see a couple of players out here. I just don't see Soldier for now. I think the rest is all on this site, and tomorrow stacking up in the window as well. Has to be careful, however, because someone is actually in the big tower. Envy Taylor has the opportunity to rain down some fire from above from this window. However, Soldier already long gone and is now well aware of the position of Envy Taylor. That means one is offside. It's important information to know. The drop down comes into the garage as well. Not quite going for the punch on the door, however, and Soldier will be trying to go for a bit of a rotate. Will maybe go up onto the kitchen window, for example, as Canis now will be making a way for a jump out just to go in from the white side. So they're wanting to go for multiple directions here and need to take care of the barbed wire first.
Well, the Gon 6 onto the white stairs is going to buy them a bit of pace if they want to apply it here. Tomorrow is just going to wait. Has the diffuser not too far away, so could try and get the plant in and amongst the chaos, the Candelas. They're trying to see if they can pinch a body away. The drones are steadily making their way around. They have a big bit of awareness here that somebody is not too far away, but it's the spray round from Server, the pre-fire. Well patiently played for the body that was on the freezer stairs. Didn't take the fight and probably saved their own life there. Canos is looking for the pressure here at the top. Has 2 frag grenades. Is going to try to utilize one of them to see if they can just catch the corner of Shael, but it goes deep all the way to the far corner. Nobody is holding that angle this time round.
Only a grenade will be tossed into the place where Shael is playing as well. Static trying to come around the corner. Wants to go for the flank back upstairs, and Soldier inside of the garage will maybe not hear that. Another fire coming through just to cover it off. And as he himself moves into the lobby now, surely will be trying to make his way up the stairs as well. There it comes, and they have no ID. That's going to be another kill. It's a 3 and 4 situation now. Shael will be able to find a response at least, but there's 40 seconds left on the clock, and there's still a member of the actual side. It's 2 versus 4 on the actual side defense here, and are they going to be able to walk away with it? Is Talon going to be able to get the kills? It's a 1-for-1 trade yet once again, and OCN is under heavy fire.
Yeah, but it's Talon just trying to break their way into the site. Soldier, who's been a good driving force, keeps that going. A 3 versus 1, 20 seconds. A grenade from a second away. The Nitro doesn't get lit. It is Talon taking this game away from them. It's Talon being able to put the pressure on, and it's sort of a bit of a bittersweet ending here for them, I think, because C9 making a lot of mistakes. Sure, they're able to get themselves, they pull themselves a little bit higher up the board. It's the end of a split for both these teams that I think was a bit uncomfortable, but for them, I think it's this sweet ending because they're a team that were looking for a little bit more development. C9 were a reigning champion, and now, you sort of thinking it feels a lot longer ago than it was.
They were the benchmark of APAC North heading into Stage 2. They were the team that got furthest during SI, even though Cyclops might have played better. They were unbeaten for a very long time as well. And now, they have been struggling. We have a new king, which is, of course, going to be Cyclops, already confirmed in first place. And Talon are going to be able to take 3 important points. Not just for the stage, because their stage is over, but for the overall standings in their fight against relegation.
Well, let's throw it over to the desk and see what they have to break down about that game.
Thank you so very much, my friends. And with that, Talon solidifies